Warm cavalry greetings to our esteemed listeners out there. I welcome you to another new edition of the End Time Prophetic News coming to you from the stable of the Ordained Radio TV Gospel Ministry. My name is Alfred Jimo, your regular newscaster. Before we go into the full gist of the news today, let me quickly serve you the highlights of today's news. United Nations General Assembly, UNGAAT, opens as the world convulses in war and contentiousness. Middle East crisis. A major crack appears on the wall of Abraham Accord as Israel attacks Quatar. 2025 celebration of Rosh Hashanah, a unique and symbolic Jewish tradition. Now the news in full. The United Nations General Assembly, codenamed UNGAAT, being the 80th edition, opens on September 9, 2025, as the world convulses in war and contentiousness across the globe, with the Israeli-Gaza conflict taking the center stage. Leaders from over 150 nations gathered, with many of them condemning humanitarian tools in Gaza and calling for a ceasefire and a renewed diplomacy. In a high-stakes showdown and what appears to be a global conspiracy against Israel, America, and the few remaining allies of Israel, the world leaders overwhelmingly backed a non-binding resolution demanding the following as part of their support for the recognition of the two-nation resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian crisis. The leaders demanded the following inter alia: immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, the release of all hostages, restoration of unhindered humanitarian access to Gaza Strip, full backing of the UN's Palestinian Relief Agency. At the Security Council, the United States vetoed the counterpart resolution calling for a ceasefire and hostage swaps, while Israeli Permanent Secretary to the United Nations Danny Danon denounced the resolution for failing to condemn Hamas' October 2023 attack on Israel. Danon described and dismissed the resolution as symbolic political theater that could embolden Hamas without changing conditions on the ground in Gaza. End-time prophetic news see all of this global politics going on at the United Nations over the Middle East crisis as one of the latent volcanoes that will one day soon erupt into the global conflict of the Third World War and Armageddon. Time up. The end is here. Middle East crisis. A major crack appears on the Abraham Accord as Israel attacks Quatar. The fragile architecture of the Middle East diplomacy was again shaken on September 9, 2025, when Israel carried out an attack on Quatar, targeting Hamas leaders in Doha. 6 people were claimed to have been killed in the attack, including a Qatari security official and the son of Hamas' lead negotiator. This attack triggered a global condemnation of Israel, with the UN chief calling it a flagrant violation of Qatar's sovereignty. Global analysts have also raised doubts about the viability of the ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas, given the bold and audacious attack by Israel on the soil of Quatar, who has always played a mediatory role in the Israeli-Hamas crisis, as well as being a major partner in the Abraham Accord. Analysts say there may be a major paradigm shift in the Middle East geopolitical alignment, as the strikes may mark a dramatic turn in Doha's posture and threaten to tear the delicate fabric of the Abraham Accords. The Accords, once painted as a cornerstone of regional stability in the Middle East, now faces its most serious challenge yet. Whether it survives this rupture or collapse under the weight of renewed regional hostility and escalating Israeli ground operation in Gaza, all of this may define the trajectory of the Middle East politics for years to come. Apostle Paul in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3 says, "When they shall see peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travaileth a woman with a child, and they shall not escape." End of quote. Time up. Events shall happen in a flood. Run to Jesus, for the end time is close. 2025 celebration of Rosh Hashanah, a unique and symbolic Jewish tradition. September 23, 2025 marks the beginning of the Rosh Hashanah, which is celebrated as the beginning of the Jewish New Year in Israel. It is celebrated on the first and second day of Tishrei, the seventh month of the Hebrew calendar, usually in September/October. On this day, particularly this year's celebration, the sound of the shofar swept not only across Israel as the Jewish nation welcomes Rosh Hashanah 5786, but across the entire world with the aid of technology. This year's Rosh Hashanah has witnessed a grand preparation as news item monitored online speculated that 100 trained priests will blast 100 shofar, ram's horn, that will echo across the globe, signaling the fulfilling of an ancient prophecies in the land of Israel. As the nation welcomed Rosh Hashanah 5786 and welcomed over 50,000 new immigrants who have arrived Israel since the beginning of the war in October 2023. Many see this return of immigrants to Israel as a fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecy in Isaiah chapter 11 verse 12. Quote, "He will assemble the outcast of Israel and gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth." End of quote. Israeli President Reuven Rivlin urged citizens towards soul searching and unity. He called that echoed Prophet Malachi in Malachi chapter 3 verse 7. Quote, "Even from the days of your fathers, ye have gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Lord of hosts." End of quote. For many worshippers in Israel, the shofar blast symbolized more than tradition. It is a wake-up call, reminiscent of Joel's warning. Quote, "Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm in the holy mountains. Let all the inhabitants of the earth tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand." With this coinciding with the world leaders gathering in New York for UNGAAT to debate the Palestinian questions and endorsing the two-state vision, makes this year's Rosh Hashanah unique and symbolic. To many Jews and Christians who are prophecy watchers, in a season of conflict, division, and return, this year's Rosh Hashanah sounded less like a holiday and more like a prophetic trumpet blast, calling Israel and indeed nations of the world to remembrance and reckoning. The Bible admonishes that when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. This is a convenient point to return home today, but before we leave, let us go through the headlines once again. The United Nations General Assembly UNGAAT opens as the world convulses in war and contentiousness. The Middle East crisis, a major crack appears on the wall of the Abraham Accord as Israel attacks Qatar. 2025 celebration of Rosh Hashanah, a unique and symbolic Jewish tradition. This is where we shall be drawing the curtain on the program today. Don't forget to like, comment, and share End Time Prophetic News and indeed all our programs on this station. From all of us here, I say bye for now. Shalom.